The Xbox made a huge impact in a competitive market of gaming. The Dreamcast, the GameCube, the PS2, they all came from established companies, so Microsoft sold it as a more mature console. Guns, boobs, and explosions. Their marketing was like Transformers, but a lot greener. They went after already established things. I'm talking Star Wars, the NFL, a lot of other stuff too. They had games like Jet Set Radio, sneakers. They had a music maker on the Xbox. Microsoft just kind of threw everything at the console. It was going to take more than GarageBand to keep them in the fight, and what they needed was a mascot. You look at Nintendo, Sony, Sega, they all had some kind of mascot at the time, you know? So Microsoft took a page out of the other team's playbook, essentially, and delivered Blinx the cat. You know, Blinx the cat was definitely something. I look at him and I think mid-2000s. You know, his game was cool on a conceptual level. It let you rewind and fast forward time thanks to the console's hard drive. That's something that hadn't been done with other consoles up to that point. And honestly, it might seem simple nearly 20 years later. Being able to like go back in time up to 10 minutes in an actual level in real time, that's pretty cool. The only problem was Blinx was a lot of games kind of crammed into one. While they were weaker in the platforming department, I do think they did a better job with puzzles and stuff. It's just, there wasn't really a need for puzzles in a Mario or Sonic game, you know? It was the console's best-selling platformer. It beat out Voodoo Vince, pretty much guaranteeing him a spot as Xbox mascot. You had Mario, Sonic, Crash, and Blinx. What more could you ask for, really? Of course, as cool as that sounds, we all know that Blinx never became the mascot. Of course, we can't forget why the Xbox succeeded in the first place. The birth of a brand new series that just tickled everybody's pickle the moment it came out. Halo Combat Evolved. It had all the three things we talked about earlier, and it was green! The early 2000s are usually associated with like Halo specifically. In all those like nostalgia My Little Dark Age edits, it's always Halo clips in there. You couldn't ask for a better match, really. They were both futuristic in design, they were both green, like this was gonna make a lot of money. It was clear that Microsoft really wanted to push Master Chief as much as possible. Blinx never stood a chance. Like, would you pick Blinx over Money Chief over here? I don't think so. Unfortunately, the sequel to Blinx the Cat didn't really do anything to warrant any further hopes, so it kind of just fell into obscurity. And Master Chief obviously went on to do bigger and better things. Well, I'll get back to that though. Now, right off the bat, it felt like Xbox really only had like one mascot to go off of, which is fine, right? You don't need like 10 mascots or anything. Totally not foreshadowing anything. It's obviously Master Chief from this point, right? Like, no debate about it. Like, this is the guy for Xbox at the time. There wasn't a clear second place. Like, you could say Blinx, but I mean, you could also say the rat from Sneakers. Chief was just there though, like, he was there to stay. And they wrote him out until the end of the era. The Dreamcast became a thing of the past, and Sony and Nintendo were ready to drop some new consoles. Graphics were improving, games were getting higher in quality, but Microsoft has too much money to back down from such trivial challenges. Microsoft unveiled the console that would define a generation. The Xbox 360. Arguably one of the greatest consoles of our time. I mean, you look at the sales data, that doesn't matter to me. This console has some of the most classic games ever. It's always some kid hitting a clip on 360 Modern Warfare or something. It's always slurs being yelled in an Xbox lobby. Like, this was the console of the 2010s. And I doubt anybody was mouthing over Mario Kart Wii like that. But the 360 also had a feature that rivaled the Wii's feature, avatars. If you remember avatars, they were basically similar to Mii's, but more human-like with a wider range of customization options. The cool part though was that there were interactive ways to unlock unlockables for your avatars to wear, and emotes, and a bunch of other stuff. Of course, you could also buy cosmetics from the store for as little as $1. Could you imagine Nintendo charging for avatars? Like, why would they ever do that? Regardless, these guys appeared in a lot of Xbox media, including pretty much all of the Kinect games and whatnot. And then you had games like Gears of War and Forza beginning to make a name for themselves. And of course, Minecraft, one of the biggest games ever, found its way onto the 360. Minecraft and Xbox 360 became synonymous, like they became one essentially. And of course, Master Chief was still killing it. I mean, Halo 3 came out, we all know how that went. It just kept going, like the Chief just kept going. If you think about it, they really hadn't solidified a mascot yet, and now they had a couple more options. Now we had Minecraft Steve knocking on the door, and Blinx's corpse was in the back alley. But aside from that corpse, there's one other mascot that we haven't really talked about yet.
allow me to introduce you to Xbox Man.
Doesn't he look like something I would use as like a background prop for Xbox to be like, oh, buy this IP. Buy this, buy this. It's such a cool but basic design, it just works perfectly. Like, I can see why this didn't make it back into the US, but I feel like it would have worked. It would have felt like the guy from Jack in the Box, you know, like the big buff dude who like chases that guy down and makes him eat a burger. That would have been perfect. I'm sure most people assumed it was Master Chief, mainly because he was there first and the longest. Not to mention, Master Chief had like the most promotions at the time. Do you remember the Master Chief Mountain Dew? That was for Halo 3's release. Do you remember the Master Chief Burger King meal? Microsoft had clearly built quite the catalog. They had so many mascots to pick and choose from, so they had like a little kind of squadron maybe. And that was a really good play, because as we will come to find out, riding Master Chief for too long isn't exactly a good idea. If I could describe the Xbox One to you in one word, it would be colossal failure. There's just not too much positive to say about it, except for maybe having Happy Wars, which was one of the greatest games of all time, but surely Master Chief would come in and save the day, right? Oh man, Halo 5, one of the worst ones. I mean, yikes. If it weren't for games like Forza, Call of Duty, GTA 5, like, I don't know, man. I don't think it would have been nearly as successful as it already was. This definitely killed all talks of a console war. You had the Wii U, you had the Xbox One, and then you had the PS4. Belt to ass by Sony. So in order to like combat the loss for the Xbox One, Microsoft bought a bunch of shark cards and just started buying shit. It's like if Nintendo tried to buy like the rights to every character in the Smash roster at the time. This was all done in the Series X era. Arguably one of the most controversial releases for a console. It hit us during the pandemic. Everybody went for the PS5 because they knew the PS4 was so good. And the Xbox Series X was just kind of there. I think the biggest part of their whole release was that they had a mini fridge that looked identical to the console. The Series X strikes me like a nail in the coffin, you know, the final one at that. The Series X was available for a while, while the PS5 was still just like a myth. Like, it wasn't until like 3.5, 4 years after release that you would see it in the wild. You know how crazy that is for a console? But how are their Golden Boys doing? Obviously, Minecraft was killing it. Awesome, great job. Master Chief and Halo just kind of went from bad to worse. You go from Halo to Halo Infinite, it just, oh yeah. I mean, they had the Master Chief collection, which was cool, but it's also like, yeah, no. Do you remember all the memes and shit of it being ass? And I think that's because Microsoft kind of stole the spotlight. It just started buying everything in like a fit of rage. I mean, in late 2020, they bought Bethesda and acquired Fallout, Skyrim, Doom, 3 brand new IPs that they could market as their mascots, right? They also bought Activision a couple years later in 2023. With it came Spyro, Crash Bandicoot, Tracer Overwatch, Ghost from Call of Duty. They got so much out of that. Regardless of that, I mean, now you have such a stacked roster to work with. How could you not find a mascot? But therein lies the problem. You have too many marketable IPs than you know what to do with. So you know what Microsoft did? They threw them all into the Xbox Game Pass. As many of you might know, the Game Pass is probably the one thing keeping the Xbox afloat right now. It's okay if you remember those like Redbox DVD things, like you would go buy a console game for a little bit, return it. It feels kind of like that in a way. But I just don't, I don't really like that model. I feel like that's one of the worst things you could do for gaming, is take away. I'm more of a physical media guy personally, you know? It doesn't even feel like there's a mascot anymore. I mean, they had it all these years. They had Master Chief, they had it right there, and then they just kind of threw it all away with this one. Now it's Master Chief right next to Doom Guy, next to the Vault Boy, next to Minecraft Steve, next to Tracer Overwatch. It kind of lost its mascot charm for me. Go home, there's no mascot anymore. I've seen some things talking about, oh, there might not be a console anymore, but then again, that's a Kotaku article, so is that really a reliable source of information? I don't know. All I know is it would probably be Master Chief or Minecraft Steve. It just, I don't know. It strikes me as though Microsoft doesn't really need a mascot. They have the Game Pass. And at this rate, they might not even have a console left to need one. Who knows? Okay, bye.